Alright, in this video I wanted to kind of showcase the new release, the Summons Guest. I didn't get the pet. The pet does EleVuln, and then it also does Days Like the Guest, but I already have a darkness-based Days. The Sunless Hydra does that. I got this guest mostly for the EleVuln mode. I feel like Fear is a better it's a better status than Daze, because Fear typically inflicts with charisma, and not many monsters have charisma. So Fear generally sticks even on non-beast builds. It'll just stick because the save is in your favor. So I'll demonstrate that real quick, but then I'm going to switch over to the EleVuln situation, and we'll kind of go from there. I've showed this a couple of times, and for those that are wondering, should I get this item if you have the tokens burning a hole in your pocket, that kind of thing, I personally think if you're a beast build, it's worth it. It is another example of some of the best beast build items being locked behind a paywall. Staff, for some reason, cannot get out of that idea. They need to release these kinds of things that are just a gold item in a quest. But for whatever reason, they beast builds, they kind of think that charisma's overpowered, but I kind of think it becomes very powerful if you spend resources, spend some money on it. But if you're not willing to spend some money and some time on it, it actually kind of sucks to try to be a good Beastmaster, I feel. But anyway, so what I'll do here, we'll do the quick days. Typically when I do these kind of things, I like to stack. So it's going to increase in potency based on darkness, which in this case is 115. So let's just kind of watch and see what happens. So we've got a 31.9% chance of unable to act. Pretty low. I think it missed one attack there. Do it again real quick. Maybe we can get a better chance here. Probably increase now. The days is up to 2 rounds at 63. Pretty standard for when I used to run the dual Hydras. There's a water version and a darkness version. You can get some pretty crazy numbers. If they ever do like a Days Eat feature somewhere, it'll probably be a pretty good status to do it. But so as you can see, there's that. As with many things, I think if I'm going to do this, I would also need a pet inflicting the same thing. You want to be able to stack the same effect to really start to show off its potency. At this point, pretty much the monster only attacked one time. For most monsters, it's not bad, but bossing, it's not going to be a very worthwhile attribute because of the freedom statuses and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe get my ass kicked here. Okay, I hate the new initiative change. I hate it. Alright, I'm so used to just clicking start battle and just winning the initiative. It's a bad habit to break. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get... Alright, so we'll just leave it at 100. You're going to be able to see kind of normalized damage. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the EleVuln mode. It's 55%, 155% max, and then it is going to be I'm going to be spamming Clever Disguise, so that's going to get up to 210, and then I'm going to go ahead. I have this Silas, which does a dual EleVuln, kind of similar to the Word Power Bat Storm Guests. So it lists as a separate line, but I'll go ahead and do the model 294 just to get the full stack. I don't know if the Silas building the separate line, if there's any weird interactions, like it causes less or more damage, or if it works fine. But we'll just do it like this. But I wanted to show this as a reminder why EleVuln on a Beast Mage is so good. Especially if you have this mist. This mist, I'm telling you, is top 5 in the game. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, if you just remember, this Solneko, it's inflicting burns and bleeds based on landed guest hits. Okay? So when you click this guy, you're going to got 155, and then that's 210, and then we have the pet going, and it should, if it inflicts, it should add another 62%. So we now have 272% EleVuln. Okay. If you notice, there's a power 4.21 for 1 duration, darkness damage burn. If you multiply that by 272%, keep in mind the darkness is 100, that would be basically the same thing as an 11.45 power burn. That's going to start doing some crazy damage. And then if you're able to prime Chaos Orb Darkness to even higher than 100, you're going to start to see a per round, several hundred, if not over 1,000, especially with the bleed. You're going to start seeing, if you had a long enough battle, like a couple or 3,000 per turn damage because of the EleVuln stacking. Alright, so now we've got 0 rounds at 272. You have to remember that with the 0 rounds in place, it is still there. So what's going to happen is I'm going to click Clever Disguise. This guy's going to attack. If he inflicts, it will list a separate line at 155%. That will mean that when he goes again, so that attack that he just inflicted will be boosted by 272% multiplicative damage. He will attack, inflict another 155. Then when he goes again, it's the 272 multiplied with the added on is the 155. When he goes again, the damage is going to increase even further. And then he'll get up to 210, assuming it all inflicts. And then the pet will go. And then the pet will have its damage, the 272 plus the 210. And it'll inflict, and it'll add the 31 or 2%. And then when it goes its second time, it's all of that rolled in. And so every round going forward will include the previous round's successful inflictions with its current, and it's building in real time. So what you're going to see, I promise what you'll see, is this guest will hit, it'll do some damage, and then when it goes again, its damage will be greater than the previous round that it just finished. And then the pet will go, and it will land its hits, and then when it goes a second time, because I'm clicking the misc, its second round of damage will be even higher than the first round, because the EleVuln is building in real time. And what I want you to keep in mind is we have 6,507 hit points right here. This may be a little bit misleading due to how the party damage works. Once you cross 0 here, for example, it's kind of wasted damage. But I still suspect we're going to see this amount of damage just melt off like crazy. I wouldn't even put it past, if it worked out just right, its entire damage pool gone. I think the only reason it might not be is because of the wasted damage potential there. So what you're going to see, got 183, 297. You notice it went up 322, so we've got 200s and then 700 lucky strike. Now we've got 300s. So we just down to 3,000, and then the burn bleed's going to hit, and it did another 900 right there. And then we're going to go again, 165, 228. Now it's got higher damage, 200s and 100s, and then this round wave would be even higher. So I was able to mow through. Alright, so I've got lucky here. So here's a absolute best case scenario. This is going to be probably pretty insane. It's a low level. It's probably not going to reject any inflictions, and a lot of hit points with 200% darkness. I will be able to do all 9,000 in 2 rounds, I predict. Now this is including the burn and the bleed, which will come off. So now we inflict, get a little higher damage. The pet goes in hundreds, maybe just below 100, and this should be probably all hundreds, if not 200. Alright. So we just did maybe around 3,000. So the first round is the weakest because you only have your one line item of EleVuln. Now I predict this is going to melt off crazy fast. And if he doesn't die here, the bleed and burn afterwards will finish him off. But we'll see what happens. All the way down to 1979. And then, oh wow, I was close. So as you can see, $8,500 hit points in just clicking Clever Disguise twice. Alright, here's one more. This will be a little bit more difficult due to the level of the monster. It has some blocking. It may reject some of the attempt at inflicting, but here I'm going to do a couple things. Failed that, and then let's go ahead and do Una Poca for more damage, and this will also help my inflictions because these are going to be based on charisma, so my damage will also go up as well. Let's see if I can manage to take all 5,200 hit points away in a couple of rounds here. It literally rejected the entire EleVuln infliction. Wow. That's some bad luck right there. This time it's 194. And then now you're getting that burn and bleed. Start to eat off. So due to the accuracy issues of the Lucky Beast Mage, they haven't changed the charisma yet. And bad luck on that. It just took 3 rounds, but I mean it's still simple. It's still very simple. I wonder if is Big Brother watching me to help me out or some shit? It's a bunch of light monsters with weakness to darkness. That's crazy. Alright, this will be the last of it. And then we should see some pretty crazy numbers here. It's got 1765. Wonder if it'll, yeah, it took all of it. So as you can see, so that's the EleVuln, as far as your weapon damage and your spell damage versus bosses, is going to be capped. It's not that helpful. But if you're able to inflict elemental burns and poisons and stuff like that, it will allow those things to actually hit that monster's caps. If it's a 250 damage cap, you can get each one to hit the cap. And then I know there's some siphon-based poisons they're starting to run with. There's a spell called Soul Steal that it would increase the heal. If we ever come across some poisons and stuff, if they come up with some new statuses that heal based on some kind of elemental damage, that EleVuln is going to affect that, and it's going to increase your ability to be able to heal yourself using those kinds of statuses, just because the EleVuln's there. But that's why I think the guest is worth getting. I would not get the pet. I showed you the Model 294 exists. There's some Death Arrows cats, which I only have a wind-based one. I would recommend, if you have some Death Arrows cats, to use those. And then obviously Silas is a ultra rare golden gift box that does a dual fire and darkness based one, which is kind of nice too. So that's why I would hold off on the pet. But there you have the EleVuln stacking and why it's super powerful in an adventure quest.